I think I saw on TikTok y'all doing a little thing over there.
Thing.
Yeah. Warmed my heart. I was like,
uh-oh.
Yay.
I already fixed it.
Cool.
Already fixed it. Got it.
Oh.
I know what did it, so now it shouldn't do it again. Sorry, guys.
You're fine. We were offline for a second.
That's why we go early. Just because Twitch never plays nice.
Yeah, it's been acting up too. It's been really acting up lately. I watch a lot of streams and like it's just unhappy always. Always
Who owns
buffering.
Twitch now? I'm always
Bezos.
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why if you go click on your little crown, there's like a ton of like shop at Amazon because that's all it is.
Okay.
Definitely get a VPN and then just watch that way, and it will get rid of all the ads for you, and you don't got to give Jeffrey Bezos no money. I mean, support the streamers you want, but
yeah, totally. Yeah.
But you don't want to watch ads.
Anti-ad block like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's ways to directly support streamers and stuff you like. Like you don't, you know what I mean? The ad revenue thing, pennies. Like it's you know. Yeah. Do you know we've been posting to YouTube, and our YouTube channel's never been like a destination.
No.
But we've had AdSense the entire time, and we're closing in on getting our first payment out of it in 13 years. Ooh. So if you're wondering how much your favorite after taxes, because they tax it, it'll be under $100.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be like 20. To be honest,
no, they don't pay out until there's 100.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then they tax it, so it's like, of course you tax it. Why wouldn't you tax it? That's good.
Why wouldn't you?
Great.
I don't need bread.
Let's get this bed.
God, y'all look so great today too. Y'all just looking.
We talked about this. I look like a very shy corpse. Like I'm just all red and like the lighting is. Susan said it. Like I had it. I have it recorded. I don't know why.
I said he is giving 90s hacker movie vibes.
Okay, that's different. That's totally
yes. See?
Yeah.
And very cool. And your name is like Ice Zero.
Yeah,
or something.
right.
Yeah.
I always go back to Project Swordfish as my example. That John Travolta movie with like the 6 monitors. And it's like, oh my god! And it's just Hugh Jackman doing this, looking in different directions, and that's hacking. Like,
yeah.
Ah, shit! I forgot to turn off Moobot. I always forget to turn. Bree, could you turn off Moobot?
I can turn off. That's one I can handle. I can take care of that, boss. I'm on it. Moobot.
Hey, chat.
I thought he was supposed to be here, calling you out.
He can't today. But
yeah, he can't.
Yes.
He might be in chat. Oh, hey, he is in chat. Hi. Valentine's Day. Oh gosh. Commands. Should I turn them all off, or just the ones that are like, "Hey, happy Valentine's Day"?
Just the regular stuff is fine. This is where we're not good at. It's like, hey, there's new T-shirts. There's this. There's that. I just set a thing up because I'm using a tool, GM Assistant, and we are setting up an affiliate program with them because I talked to the guy who makes it, and it's really awesome. But it's like I'm not ready to post any of that yet. I'm just not. So, but it's a really cool thing, and I'll tell you guys about it soon. But yeah. My God.
Wait, one last tech thing. Is Jason coming through twice in audio?
Why? I'll be
quiet. He was for me for a minute because for 12 seconds I forgot that I was in the Discord, but also I have Twitch open, and I was like, is everybody talking a lot more? Because I was also cleaning my desk up and trying to get my water out of the way or whatever. And I heard a lot of noise until I realized, oh yeah, mute my browser. And scene. We've taken in my family to when anybody drops anything, because we realized we were one of those families where it's like, well, it depends on who it is, but somebody drops something, it's like, oh yeah, get it. Yeah. That's all that does is set up an adult for a kid to grow up to be an adult who's just going to panic about everything. So now somebody spills some water, immediately everybody looks at each other and they go, and scene. And it's really lowered the stress.
I love
see
that.
online. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, I had a coworker who was telling me that she has her daughter who's 17. She has it, so every time that she apologizes needlessly, just as sorry for just, existing as women are wont to do, she makes her put money in a jar to make her stop doing that.
I may have said this before, but one of the ways that I've helped to stop doing that is to start, instead of saying sorry for everything, apologizing needlessly, to thank people for the small graces that they give me. So if you show up late or something like that, you just say, thanks for being patient, or thank you for this, rather than
I tried that with Jason earlier today. Because he made I was like, hey, do you want to have macaroni and cheese? And he said yes. And I was like, do you want to make macaroni and cheese? Because I wanted to get a shower. And he was like, all right, this is less of a favor now.
Yeah, that's very misleading.
Yeah.
Would you like? It's like, hey, yeah, that'd be great. Do you want to cook it? I'm like, cool. Like,
fully admitting that was not my finest hour. But like after he made it, I was like, thank you. And he was like, don't worry about it. I was like, no, thank you. Like, I'm not apologizing. I'm saying thank you because and I appreciate you.
Thank you for being subjected to my Jedi mind trick.
Just making sure I'm coming in singularly now.
How many?
I
think I should
check
be
for you, but I was like, it's not going to work for me because I'm in the call.
Yeah.
Nice and clear. No echo. Thank you. Perfect. There was a hidden switch flip toggle thingy.
There's always so many hidden ones.
Everybody, welcome. Thank you guys for showing up. It's the first extended rest we've done in years. I think we started doing them in Arc 5, or maybe we stopped. I can't remember, but it's been years. I know that much. 4? I think we stopped it after Arc 4, didn't we?
4. Yeah, we started and stopped it in Arc 4, I think.
I can't remember, but it's been a long time. But because we kind of changed the focus of everything, and it's, it's kind of singularly focused, it's a little less scatterbrained, and I think it's easier for people to catch up on stuff. So before we get started, we are going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of the show. In the past, I think we've had a no spoiler thing. We've tried to, and that's not a very good way to talk about something that has happened already. So we are either guessing that you've listened to the first 3 episodes of Frostbourne, or you don't mind spoilers, and we're going to take it from there. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has listened, because I feel like the reception for it's been really good, like incredibly strong. You guys have been killing it. Like the audio versions of the show have been edited wonderfully, and everyone seems really excited about stuff. I was obviously very afraid because it's such a big change. Before we get into the show stuff, behind the scenes, we've been setting this up for many months now. You guys took to it very quickly, like once we got the group together and everything, and you've been talking about stuff behind the scenes nonstop. But initially, when you found out we were jumping ahead 112 years, Was it excitement or worry or disappointment? Like, what were you guys thinking? Honestly, obviously, but like,
I'll jump in. I got excited, specifically because trying to think about like, okay, winding down an arc, opening up a new arc up. There's like a spring cleaning type of a feel to all of it. And this was just one more level of that got real exciting not because the rest of the history of Theria doesn't matter and the characters don't matter and the whatever. In fact, if anything, it's that there's such a rich history. It's like, how do you keep unraveling on a day-to-day basis? So having a distance to look back on all of that and sort of see where it's going to go, like this Therian world is insane. What's going to happen over the future? Well, you took us there. And so now it's like, well, that was the fuck around. This is the find out a little bit. And the find out is interesting and new and refreshing and an exciting new playground. It's the same sandbox, the new sand in a way. So anyway, it was exciting for me.
In fact, snow.
Yes.
You're right.
I'm trying to. It was at least 3 months you guys were making characters and like figuring shit out, because it definitely took a while for me on this end to like, okay, like where do you start? Like what do I do? Because there's been, I guess for lack of a better term, like there's been a status quo that I know how to manage and upkeep stuff. It's like a bonsai tree, but like suddenly, okay, now prune all that and start over. What does that look like? And, and you guys have been planning, like I tried not to mess with your vision, but like as things trickled in, I had to, it's like, that family doesn't exist, or this thing has
Right.
changed, or that, and I was worried I was going to step on you guys' toes, but it worked out pretty well. Like, I feel like, was there an idea you wanted to come in with that, like, it just changed, or you changed your mind, or like it didn't work? Oh, awesome. Good. Okay.
Quite the opposite for mine. It was actually really cool because I knew I wanted to play a rogue, and then it came to me like an old rogue, someone who you wouldn't assume is an assassin. Like I love that idea of like an old grandma that you would never go, okay, that's a brutal murderer. And so when you gave us more backstory, it was really cool. Like, oh, okay, so I could tie in this really cool new race that Theria has, because if she's really old, then I want elf because I want her to have lived for a very long time. So then, elves have started merging with the Mazog. So, she's really old, and I want her to have a lively backstory where she's lived. She wasn't just stagnant there. She wasn't just standing in the evergreen waiting for her turn to exist. She had a full, rich life. So I was like, okay, that's a cool way to introduce this new race that we have of she was one of the people who's like, she hooked up with an orc and she has 61 grandkids.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of excitement on the player side of stuff, and we were like texting back and forth and getting like really hyped about like character ideas and things like that. But there was always this like, we were always kind of like trying to keep it a little bit general, and there was always this like, well, we hope that this kind of like fits in because I think that respect kind of goes both ways. Is like, we didn't want to like do something that just kind of like, didn't fit in the world or didn't have any ties to the world or anything like that, So
Right.
as soon as we got the like details and you like gave us that like bullet point timeline, we were like, okay, let's go. And like, I don't think any of it sort of threw any of our character concepts out of the window. I think the only one of us that had an idea that maybe they were kind of waffling about was Jasper a little bit.
I mean,
had a very cool idea, but was like,
Yes.
I don't know if I can get away with it.
I'm holding that in my pocket until the future. But yeah, I think the one thing that as we were chatting, Yeah, again, not sort of secretly chatting, trying to make a plan, but just more like, let's come to the table with something so that we
Yeah.
can work together. That's kind of like proto planning.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that we started from the very beginning was it was very clear. It wasn't we're all going to meet in a tavern, or we're not all a bunch of hired hands that happen to meet on like protecting a caravan for the first episode. It's these characters for different reasons needed to have come together for over time with a history, with baggage, with connections, with whatever it might be. And as long as we had that and it was still flexible, then whatever
Yeah.
you threw at us meant that we could fit into that world and we fit together. And that I feel like is already coming through in the first 3 episodes is, we're not just like, hi, nice to meet you. It's, yeah, we know each other. We've been through it. We can be rude to each other and we love each other. And there's already some connections there. So I think that's a basis that we knew from the beginning. But what that world was going to be like was like, who cares? We'll figure that out later. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you think it was harder or easier than what we usually do? Because for the last few arcs, I've given you guys a bunch of hooks, and then the people who are interested in those hooks, voted, and we tried to pair. But this time it was wide open. Like it was just, hey, just make characters. Don't worry about a hook. We'll figure that out later. But was that easier or harder not having a planned out thing? It's like, hey, we are hunting this ancient, creature, and that's our thing. Like, but the world kind of dictated what you guys wanted to do in a way. A little bit, it seemed.
Yeah, I think it was a lot easier because when you have, I mean, those scenarios are great too. When you have a GM or something who's like, okay, we're gonna be in the Feywild and you're all fairies and like, and like you have a theme.
Yeah.
You can build stuff around that. Like that's awesome too. But it felt easier because we could just be like, okay, what do I want to play? Like, what are the things about me as a player that like tug my interest or my heartstrings, or like, what do I want to do? And like, then be able to like put them and tie them into a bigger setting. That felt easier to me just because it would like I could follow my instincts a little bit more and be like, oh, this is what I feel like. This is what's cool about the system that we're playing that I like, and like I can, I can do that, and then I can sort of like hook it up. And it was, and like Jasper said, it was way easy to be able to then like have that nucleus, that like family nucleus, that strengthened it a lot.
I absolutely love Advanced 5e, by the way. 110%. This was the right move. Bree even said, she said something similar. You said something the other day. It's like, this one feels right. Whereas the last time we tried to make a change, it's like, it felt like we were kind of cutting, like shaving things down to make it fit, or like this just, it fits perfect.
It's like that game Hole in the Wall, like, but it was just cut out to shape us.
And we didn't get pushed off into oblivion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I said this in one of our chats somewhere, but playing Ruby specifically, I'm playing a class that I've never played before, and
What class are you playing?
I am. Oh, by the way, I play Ruby Pettigrew in the Frostbourne campaign. She is a half orc. She calls herself a gear slinger, and the reason is that she's technically an adept in A5e, which is the A5e version of a monk, and I've never played a monk before. There's a lot of stuff to think about, but I'm trying to do it in a very different way. So you'd never know that she was a monk if you were to go all the way back to she's not monkish at all, but her abilities are very much mechanically all of that. But the thing that I think I said somewhere was, A5e has just been. Jason, I think you said it's a lateral shift, right? So it's not like a change. It's a move into something. And I'm a really hard sell because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I don't know how to do mechanics. I don't, right? So, I mean, that's just life. But specifically when it comes to like mechanics and playing and all of that, I kind of get it. And I have to remember, I have to write down a lot of notes. But man, I'm converted. Like I really love it. And it's because it meant that I'm not trying to figure out how do I flip the switches to play Ruby. It's more like now I know why she's doing what she's doing, and that makes it easier for me to be able to say, even in combat, she's going to start this way almost every time, and you'll probably hear that over many, many episodes. This is how she's going to come in immediately. It's not because that's my best max attack, like for like my percentage chance for getting numbers. It's more like because that's what she would do. And that might be true for most people here may play already that way. I don't, but A5E gave me an opportunity to sort of rethink how to approach things like combat, and that I'm a hard sell, and I'm convinced. So
yeah, when the mechanics sort of match your play style or like the way you approach it, yeah.
So what clicked for you? Because we've been playing 5e for since about a year after it came out. It's like 2015. So we played for like 9 years, 8.5 on the show, and you've played multiple characters. Never once have I ever heard you think about playing a monk, really. Yeah. So what about the mechanics? Because it is a lateral move. It is 5e. It's just extensions. There are more options, and there's a little bit more wiggle room. Like when I look at Adept, I don't think traditional Asian mysticism monk, drunken boxer stuff. I think a fist fighter. So what about those mechanics like clicked for you where you looked at it and it's like, oh, this makes more sense than regular 5e did?
So here's the book, by the way. This is not a pitch. This is not a big sell, but I have to, but it's really beautiful. I do have the book.
No, it's a pitch. Guys, you can get 5%.
Like you can buy and you can get it.
Yeah. You can get 5% off and you use our DA and DR, our affiliate link.
Okay, legitimately, I was looking up a book, Zeitgeist, another A5E, because there's a class in there that I think I want to multi-class with, and it works for that too. So it's legitimately, I used it the other day.
Oh my
gosh! We're getting hardcovers of everything slowly. Like we want to get that stuff because I also want a PDF version for the table, and I'm gonna import everything because I like options, and there's so many good ones.
There's so many options. The simple answer to the question about like what clicked for me was I got this book because you were like, let's do this. And okay. So I got the book and I'm like, get in bed at night and I'm like, I guess I'll try to read this. And when I started thinking about what my character could be, and then it's getting into specifically combat maneuvers. And the reason is, I told at DragonCon, I told Rush last time, we were just chatting for a while, and I told him flat out, I said, if combat were removed from D&D, I'd be a happy person.
You've said that many times.
And I've said that to others.
Too. Yeah, you said that to me before.
But here's the thing. This clicked for me because now the combat maneuvers are such that it's not I push the button and do the thing that a monk does. Now it's Ruby she's got a whole path. Like I've thought 10 levels ahead of if she goes this way and this way and this way and this way, this is the kind of person she is and the way that she can, that became story and not combat. And that was the big click for me.
Cool.
All right, guys. Fess up. How far into your leveling have you thought about your characters? Ian, Susan?
And who do you play? And by the way, who do you play?
I think I've got 10 levels mapped out too, because I'm going to multi-class at 6.
Yeah,
I feel like that. Go, please. Yeah, go. I felt like that was more of a wizard thing for the longest time. It's like, I want that spell, but I've seen everybody pick out new maneuvers and things and feats, and that's God. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, somewhere about 10 levels, and I was like looking at different kinds of multi-class, and I was like, oh, because that's one thing I really liked is like, in 5e multi-classing kind of feels like your
downgrade.
Yeah, it feels. This may not be the case. This is just my experience, but it feels like you're losing something, and unless you're like min-maxing like crazy, which I don't know. I mean, that's totally fair and an awesome way to play, but it's just not. It's just kind of doesn't. That's not how I play. But there's all these like cool things that you can do that sort of like synergize with different classes that you're playing or like different classes that other people are playing, and I think that that's really really neat, and I like that. And yeah, it just kind of like got me thinking story wise about like how a character can change and become something, which is what a cool campaign does. Like you come in with a character and you're like, this is an idea of a character, and then the cool story is like seeing how they diverge from that, and what they become at the end. Cool stuff. So yeah, like 10 levels probably, something like that, in like various branching paths too.
Yeah, I've got some choose your own adventures, but it's starting to become because we're getting there.
You are currently choosing your adventure, so
Yes.
you're in the process of.
It's true, and just every time we play, it becomes more and more clear the path that's most likely for Ruby to take from a build point of view and a story point of view. I mean, at least from her side.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have 2 episodes in the can, and we're recording again tomorrow, which is absurd. I can't remember the last time we had a surplus. It's always been hand to mouth this entire time. So it's like, oh, we got an episode, turn around, edit, go. Like, so this is so good. And we're doing something. When characters level up, we're going to do it on the show. It'll be part of an episode. So there might even be a timestamp where it's like, if you don't care about this, go ahead and skip. But if you want to know what people are picking and why they're doing it for character reasons, not just, oh, I get this die value now because I picked this, and you know what I mean? Like it so far it's been very story makes the mechanics important, not the mechanics make the character. And ever since I saw A5E's, that the origin portion of making a character, it's like, oh, they're putting a high value. Like there are 4 things you got to do before you can even roll dice, really, if you wanted to. So they're putting a very high value on a character.
And there's something about like, it's so perfect to have heritage and culture be 2 totally different things, because that was always the struggle I had with regular 5th edition, 4th edition. All the editions of D&D has always been very stringent on like, okay, what's your race? That informs 90% of your character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but okay, let's not even talk about the optics of that or anything like that. Let's talk about the fact that like, what if I grew up amongst a different culture? And now my character has all of these attributes that you applied that don't actually work for my character. So like just making those 2 separate things, you can still acknowledge that the heritage is there while also leaving it open that you might have been raised somewhere else, or even if you were raised in the same place, like you didn't just take like the fact that you were an elf isn't the only thing that matters about you. Actually, the fact that you're really into like high couture is the most important thing. Like you grew up in the Evergreen, but you were making dresses from beautiful banana leaves, like in that Project Runway episode that we all remember, right? Anyway.
I want you to play I want you to play this character now, Bree. Damn.
That's
a high couture elf from the Evergreen. That's awesome.
I took advantage.
There's so much in me that I know it has nothing to do with anything, but I was like, bananas don't grow in the Evergreen. Those are trees. Those are nerd. And that's I'm just ignoring.
That's why I brought up Project Runway.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why it's high couture, because it's imported. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Imported. Yeah. How much could a banana cost?
So I took advantage.
It was corn husks that he used, by the way. So I failed as a fan. But
in theory, bananas. I took advantage of the heritage, culture, all of that. So Ruby is a half-orc, but her culture is steam forged, which is towards her engineering stuff, which will hopefully, we'll eventually get more of her background and all that kind of stuff. But her heritage is human because she grew up in an orphanage, and she was like one of the only, half-orcs, so if not the only one. It was all human for her. So she is half-orc, but what's so interesting to me, and it keeps it interesting to me, is that I'm not drilling down into that. It's more just like, no, that's a thing, but she's this, and she's this other thing. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
for sure.
We got questions from the chat. If you guys want to answer some questions,
Let's go.
Bree, thank you so much. She's taking these and copy pasting them so that I don't lose them. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to try and pronounce this name. Zarian in the City, I think is just how it is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Zarina.
Zarina? Yeah, actually, that's probably more. Yeah.
Z in the
I
city.
Big Z. No. I'm curious if what players thought their characters would do affected how the history turned out on your end, Jason. We've
recorded 2
follow-up to
Living
that,
in Therias
Yes.
so far.
Yes. So you guys had ideas and stuff. It was basically like, this is what we're using. We're using A5E. Start with that. And then please hold. Your call is very important to me as I scramble to write on this end. So it's just days of me just looking up like this.
History.
Just, I have a world map here, and like slowly but surely we're getting things together. So I can't update the map until it's Skyrim. Skyrim is the blueprint for there is too much to fucking do on this map and I don't know where to go. I'm paralyzed with choice. That is the first game where I looked and went, huh. Like I just don't know what to do. So
Just go to the Thieves Guild like we all do. We just all end up there.
Yeah, until I discover, like it's like, ooh, that whole that I want to join the Murderers Guild, or at least I want to check them out. Like, like
Oh, I'm gonna kill. Oh, I don't want to. I was gonna be like, spoiler.
You
want to
spoil Skyrim from 2011? They just released that game again. But
On my, I can't say her name. She'll know, but you can play it on that.
Oh.
Can't say her name.
Wow.
I'm writing on this end and I'm trying to figure out, it's like, okay, I can't do X until I've done Y. So I have to kind of do things out of order and just figure out where I want, where the next logical step for a lot of characters and stuff would have been. And then where does that end up? And I tried my best, and I probably failed, to take into account as many characters that you guys have played and what they would have done or tried to do. And that is maddening. I tried. I so tried. And only so much is in your control and everything, but everything in the world you can trace back to some character decision. I am very proud of that fact. And as we get to it, it's like, oh, this happened because of this. And it is in a lot of ways, it feels like the culmination of, so many of your guys' choices and actions and dice rolls and all kinds of stuff. So as we uncover it, Bree, please.
I don't want to interrupt too much because, we have the actual players here, and I'm just, a side person.
Co-owner of the business. Yeah, no.
Co-owner.
Yeah,
You know
not
what? Yeah,
important.
never mind. I'm a boss-ass bitch. So we've done 2 Living in Therias already, and I want to harken back to a question you had at the very start of this. Is like, well, what did you think about jumping 100 years into the future? For me personally, there was obviously an immediate oh, dip. I had some really I had some attachment to those characters. Doing the Living in Therias with you is actually I was ready to accept it as it was, because I was like, well, I love this world. I'm gonna keep exploring it, and I am excited for all the new stuff. Then we sat down for Living in Theria. We started talking, we addressed some questions. I'm not gonna give any away. And there weren't any spoilers, but it was kind of like, hey, what happened with this character? And he's like, well, I've been talking to this person, and this affected this, and a couple of characters were brought up and how their specific actions that I hadn't even thought about, because it's so we're talking arc 2, arc 1, arc 3, older characters that became established people, and how their actions affected the universe. So it's not so much oh man, this character I really loved is gone. It's, oh man, this is how Valis just posted in the chat. This is how Valis specifically affected Theria forever. And yes, he's gone because tieflings don't live that long. I don't think. I think tieflings have human lifespans in Theria for the most part.
About, give or take, it depends. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yes, he's gone, but he had family. He had a position of power. He made decisions that affected the world forever. And being able to see those decisions is almost more closure than actually just following him for another 5 years in a weird way. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm just going off. But
and they obviously had kids, and there's, there are certain, there's a bit of specificity where it's like, hey, how do you think this would happen? Like, I have to go back and talk to people, but broad strokes, any character you guys have played, you've already touched so many things and moved them and changed them in ways that's like, hey, I've got a lot to work with. I'll have to ask you at a certain point. Like, there's some slaver stuff I'm gonna ask Susan. There's some, there's
whoa.
One of your characters was very anti-slavery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not asking for your expertise.
Not advice.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna ask you. It's like, hey, do you recommend a brand of chain? Because like, I'm trying to keep these people from moving, and like,
you know whether or not if there is a whip, if there is in fact a way.
Oh, really?
Sorry. And why is that the catchiest song from those movies? Why is that the one?
Because it's sung by all the orcs.
I love that in that awful Bakshi film, all the orcs are like 2.5 feet tall. They're the least imposing. They like waddle along and just the worst.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got a tangent about the Bakshi stuff later. We can jump into it later. Yeah, just remind me, but yeah.
Ian, you forgot to send me whichever Bakshi character you would also want on your Hear Me Out cake that we're gonna do. You gotta get that to me.
I have one. It was the overspill. It was the overspill. Yeah.
Nice. We are eventually going to do a GMT Hear Me Out cake with all the freaks on the podcast. So look forward to that in our Discord server.
I'm completely normal, so I will not be drinking.
Oh my god. When we do the like high concept, like weird shit, like the sound of wind on a empty trail, like I'm down. Like
yeah.
Not the monster fucking, but like.
I mean, it's Hear Me Out. You can, if you want to fuck, the wind on an empty trail. Yeah,
well,
like that's
I'm just saying how great it is.
Hear me out.
Hear me out. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Elle will be there as well, guys. Those in the chat who immediately asked.
She's like the ambassador of Mont. Like, you have to.
I might have her host it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a couple more questions. I was gonna, or do you want to ask them actually? Because like that would make more sense. Yeah. Sure. I did want to clarify something because I've seen.
Jasper, I literally have no idea what anyone is talking about.
I've understood only the connecting words like the and stuff like that for the last. Yeah,
I know what cake is, but I don't think my cake is the same as your cake.
I understand. Don't understand. Don't want to know.
I did want to clarify something that where we are in the campaign and the fact that it's 112 years wasn't picked arbitrarily. It wasn't like, oh, I want to be here now, and then we just tossed everything out. And I think that was a fear a lot of people had, that it was just like, we'll make it fit from, it very much wasn't. I initially thought about, it's like, hey, what about like the next generation? But that came off as a little Saved by the Bell, the college years to me.
Yeah, and it did not work for Dragonlance, so I don't think it'll work for us. Like we're not Dragonlance.
I don't know. I just felt like this was far enough removed that a ton of new stuff has happened, but not so far removed that like when you play a Star Wars prequel, it's 10,000 years before Han lived. It's like. Well, okay.
But somehow they have all the same technology.
Yeah, or better, or yeah. I'm done. I just wanted to clarify that.
That's cool. Yeah, like what? So was it that jump was specifically like I want to get as far removed so that we can have this be like in the histories rather than, oh, my dad, was
Duncan.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted
more
to avoid
moving
a
more
little bit
into
of that.
legend, like legend material.
Yeah,
kind
or just okay. I tried to think more about real life, right? Because the car.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, not our real life currently, 100 years ago when there was maybe hope. But like, the car is not 100 years old, really, mass produced. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think that's like, wow, okay, 100 years, a lot can fucking happen. Like, it's a lot, right?
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I in a world where there is no internet, there is no, it's what's written down in books and just the way I keep records, which is terribly. But like, I so much sympathize with a character like Gandalf who has to go looking through unbound books, and it's like there's just papers everywhere, and it's like that's Theria, that's it. It's all over here. So I tried to think about like what a world would look like 100 years in the future, or I started like 30, 40, and what I thought we'd get is a lot of like Bree said, it's like, oh, I'm Duncan's son, or you know what I mean? Like this is a little further removed, and you can really see that ripple. Go ahead, Susan.
So is 112 for a reason? Is there something with this year?
Yeah.
Why did that just come to me?
Wait, what? Wait, does Susan realize something right now?
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. You have to ask Susan. I don't know.
Message me.
That's
I've had a few of those though. Like we had that during the Living in Theria. There were several times I was like, I didn't think of that, and it made me excited. But let's move on. Let's do more questions. I hope that was a good answer to your question, Czarina in the City. You confirmed in the chat that it is the feminine version of Czar. So.
Like
I didn't know there was a
Z-A-R.
Speaking of boss ass bitches,
I didn't know there was.
Okay.
I thought Czar was just like. I don't know why I didn't think of it as like king or queen, like a gender.
So,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Huh.
Oh, their name is Anastasia. Okay. So Jazz Dog Jake with a much easier to say username, because I'm dumb and it's 3 very simple words. Was that Ruby's first interaction with full-blooded orcs? How did she feel finding the baby, and why the hesitation?
That's a good question. So Ruby's been around. She's like 30 years old. She's been traveling around. There's more history here that's going to probably unfold, of course, as our backstories come together. And importantly, side note, how we all sort of came together, and like with Logren and all of this stuff that's happening. I imagine that this is probably not the first orc she's met. If there's an orc in maybe a city or something like that, but not like this, not this kind of orc, right? This would
Like
have been
a
really
Brugal
weird.
orc,
Yeah, like a Brugal orc, nothing like that. Like would never have visited the Brugal camp, or it would have been maybe if there's an orc that's a different type of orc that would have lived in a city or was a different type of, and I don't know because we've never played, of course, her whole background, but no, it would have been very, very few and far between. And like I said, growing up, it was orphanage type stuff, and then on the streets, and maybe encounter an orc or something in there, but really, really no other half orcs. It was probably pretty. She's alone in a lot of ways. What was the next question?
Finding the baby.
Finding the baby. So that was specifically me reacting to her seeing herself as a baby that had been given to an orphanage. She, by the way, there's this whole trope, right, where it's like, I'm an adventurer, my parents were killed, and I'm blah, 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 right, or something like that, or I'm an orphan, or whatever, urchin, that kind of thing. I wanted to take that and not make it. She's totally fine with it. She was like, this is great. I totally was supported. I totally had a free life. I'm totally confident. I'm totally good at what I do. It's not a big deal. That said, and this was not something that we ever planned. Obviously, we didn't know we were going to see a baby. But my first thought was Ruby would be like, I'm seeing an orc baby. I'm kind of seeing myself a little bit here. This is weird, and would probably go into a loop about it. So that's what you saw happening over that day of her kind of, trying to take care of a baby and be like, I don't know how to take care of a baby, but also this is me. And then the hesitation was simply that too. It was simply like, is this going to be okay? Do you give a baby over to a big bunch of marauding orcs beating drums? But it wasn't a hesitation like, I'm gonna run away with the baby, and it was just more like, we could take the baby to back to Winterhaven. I don't know, just something. Is it gonna be okay? Just like a little.
Is this baby gonna be okay? Like,
but it's definitely not Ruby to be panicked. It's definitely not her to hesitate or to worry. So that was a moment that was specific.
I gotta say that like super surprised me too when we were playing that, because it was like one of those things where I was just like, I just wasn't expecting you to react like that, and then when you did, I was like, of course, that makes so much, like, it just crystallized the idea of Ruby for me in my head. I was like, yes, of course, awesome. Absolutely.
Yep.
Zarina in the City did have a follow-up question to the baby stuff, and I think in the call, Jasper's the only one who can answer this, but did all the parents in the group have a visceral reaction to the baby crying? Because I immediately started crying.
Oh, like in the episode with the sound effects?
Yeah, because we didn't have sound effects.
Yeah,
true. I did. We did add shout out to Monument Studios because they had both muffled babies crying and regular baby crying in their bank. So I was able to make it so the blanket came off the baby, just like in the episode. I was very proud of that.
We did have for about 12 minutes, Jason just mimicked a baby crying.
Yeah,
it did get cut out of the episode, but it was like just
it was unrelated, by the way.
Easy. Yeah. We started talking about the stock market and our futures, and ease just came out of me. Oh. I did cut that.
Cathartic.
I thought that was yeah. Anyway, like just moving on.
To answer that question, as the parent right now on the call, I have 10-year-old twins. I'm exhausted. I can't think of anything straight. My mental load is so much that I basically am ready to sob at any given moment. So my visceral reaction was, oh, a baby. Oh, there's a knife? I considered it for a second that we should just get rid of the baby. But that was just my personal... I made it dark.
You went a touch too dark.
You're the one who's allowed to be dark because you have the kids. See, if Jason had made that joke, we all would have been like, okay, Jason, too far.
No, of course not. No, but it did. But my visceral reaction was, oh my God, a baby, what do you do? What do you do? And then it went straight into Ruby. And I was like, well, then let's let Ruby handle this.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know, it was a way to channel it, I guess.
Mine was definitely you, and then get the only person I knew who was a parent, which was Nythera, to come over and handle it.
Honestly,
my reaction was, oh shit, do we have a baby now? Is this what we are? Are we like bringing in a baby?
Are we raising this child?
And now I'm responsible for this bottle of water.
Yes.
That so far is maybe my favorite reaction of Frostbourne. Just the baby. Everyone's like, God damn it! Like there's a moment, but it's not. God damn it! I have to deal with this. It's like I feel like each one of you were kind of internalizing it with character stuff, where it's like, fuck, my character has to deal with this, and that it's like, all right, we're on the right track. Good, let's keep doing this.
It was the right thing.
Yeah.
So the next question, C. Bailey DSS asks, Susan, what's the best way to do a slavery?
Not.
Good answer.
There we go.
Next question.
Perfect.
Man, I wish that was the common answer. I'm not sure anymore. Good job, though.
Yeah.
Nope.
I know it's a controversial opinion, but
real hot take.
Yeah, jeez.
So controversial. Aries0926. So are PCs or NPCs within humanly long lifespans, could they still be around? is the question. Like,
Mathematically,
any-
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I yeah.
Nice.
That's all.
I mean,
I could give you
No,
a
you
long-winded
guys-
answer, and then eventually I'm going to either give something away or
Yeah.
tease you
Right.
and not
Totally.
deliver.
Let's move on.
Well, but like Nythera is a good example of.
Yeah.
I mean, Nythera's been around for a long time and had a long life doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's a complete connection to the past.
And if you go back, Nythera would have been an infant towards the end of Arc 5, right?
No, she would have been like 40.
Damn.
Holy shit. Yeah. No, sorry. For some reason, 112, like I just... Jesus, God, yeah.
Yeah, she's
so,
153.
my God.
Yeah.
Doesn't look
Any
a
reason
day
for-
over 108, I would say. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
thank
I
you,
see.
thank you.
Any reason for that number, Susan? 153.
Ooh.
it's aspirational.
That's
Oh,
the-
no, I wanted her to be in her 20s when the Carter War was happening.
Oh.
Gotcha.
That's clever. Yeah.
Hmm
So, how's everyone feel about that demigod baby? I feel like, so we were talking about how you all went like, oh god damn it, and I feel like what happened was everyone was ready for something from Jason, like, okay, start of the adventure, here we go, what's gonna happen? And not a single person thought demigod orc baby.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And that was the oh god damn it. Was like, I prepped so many things in my head for how my character would react to a dragon, a genocide, a this and that. It's like, now I have to deal with this bottle of water.
Mm-hmm. 100.
Well, we gave it back. Not a problem anymore.
Yeah, I
Everybody
think
else's.
it.
Is that how
I
that
think it-
works? Is that how
I
demigods
think it
work?
turned out really well. Yeah. I mean,
It's just gonna
yeah.
grow up and be fine, and
Again.
it's not gonna do anything.
As a parent, there's no better feeling whenever you have a baby than being able to hand it over to someone else. It's really an unbelievably. It's just. Yeah, you will? Oh my God, yes. Thank you. Just for a second. It's so good. So I did. That was my visceral feeling.
I just
The
want
next
to know which thoughty god went after. Like, I just want to know. Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's something that's gonna be really cool to see later. Yeah, but
Oh, I'm sure it has really big implications that we should care about.
but our group
What?
just doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
That's you
Well-
got like straight up confirmation that it's a demigod, and you guys were still like, and
See you
done.
later. Yeah. Like, oh, good. Is even a better reason to give it away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Demigods
Not
probably
our
come with some baggage.
responsibility.
You know,
Yeah.
something just dawned on me too is that there's a new Aetherian vibe, a DNR vibe at this point because of the group being 112 years later, the long roar. It's all a blizzard, and like you said, it's basically the middle of summer right now. It's like this is the best it's gonna get, right? So now, rather than just like, okay, which city do we go to? What do we do? Which quest do we follow? Where do we go? Which direction? Now it's like, hey, and we're noticing this, I think too. You're probably noticing this is like, hey, here's a really important thing happening kind of in the distance, right? And it's like, yeah, we could die. Well, let's forget it. It's not our problem, right? And that's. But I'm thinking it's not just for like I don't want to bite to the story from a meta point of view. It's more like, no, I bet that adventurers in this world at this time are probably like hands off. Like, no, this is a much harsher world. This is a much deadlier world. There's a lot of stuff out here that we don't even know right now. So there's probably a lot of not my problem as a zeitgeist, like as a way that people just
Like-
kind of think.
Is
Yeah.
that true, Jason? Do you think like culturally the world is a little bit more turtling up, guarded? Like adventurers are more out for themselves in this
Well,
version?
Can I be real with you guys?
Like,
So okay, look. I did a lot of thinking about the real world, right? specifically as an American, because that's my point of view, it's not great right now. But there is something to be said for hope, but reasonable hope. And giving you guys the same map, more things going on. There's you could point in any direction and it's new stuff, right? But then the realization of like, okay, it takes double to triple the time it would normally take to travel. It's dangerous. We have stories we want to tell. And even though you guys are playing weekly, it's still filtered through that lens of what can we do? So you want to change things. You have a plan to change things, but you can't point at everything and go, I need to fix this. I need to fix that. So it's hope filtered through, a realistic
Your
expectation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are basically getting involved in local politics instead of saying, we need to fix the presidency. You're going, oh, man, I can't do much about the demigod, baby. I got my hands full with this. So
We're gonna build
run
this
for community center.
Yeah, I'm going
Right.
for the school board.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's something too. I mean, all of that for sure. All of that, and then there's this like feeling of like the setting like puts you in. I don't know. Puts me in like frontier mode. I think it's True Grit, the Coen Brothers film where
Just
like
rewatched
Jeff
that.
Bridges. I think it's this movie, but Jeff Bridges or not Jeff Bridges. The character in it that meets
Rooster
like just some.
Cogburn.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and he meets this like just like traveling trapper or whatever in the forest, and there's just like this kind of tense conversation because you just like don't know if it's a crazy person or not, and they're just kind of like being cordial but eyeing each other up, and it's like, what kind of problems are we gonna? You know what I mean? Like it feels.
Yeah.
It's like that conversation the whole way around the map. You know what I mean? Like.
Every time you guys meet a new person, there's going to be, are you here to take my stuff? There's going to be, there's this underlying conversation, even if they're totally friendly. It might be worse that they're friendly. It's like, are you trying to cozy up to me? Every Patreon group has had to deal with that at one point. Every single one, because they're playing in the same campaign as you, but all the Patreon groups are playing in that fort and building it up. Every time someone knocks at the door and they're desperate, or they're out and about and they see a trapper, or they see a group of people, it's like, okay, sup? Like it's very and then towns and cities are going to have a completely different vibe because there's going to be a ton of people, and there's going to be a lot. I want towns and cities to feel overwhelming because I want you guys are getting ready to go. I'm not spoiling, but you're getting ready to go to a place, or you're getting ready to start making your way there. If you get there, I want it to be.
Don't say if, dude.
Well, you might change your mind and go a different place. That's what I'm saying. I don't mean you're dead. I just mean you may get halfway there. It's like, nah, man, fuck this. And you just have something else you want to go do.
Fine.
But I want it to feel like there's a difference between you guys hiking through a frost-blasted, empty field and then getting into a town where there's thousands of people doing things. I want it to feel different and kinetic and almost. There will be a difference between some of you going, "Oh man, there's tons of stuff to do," and it's like, can we hit the road, man? I'm getting a headache. Like, there's too much shit. Like,
overstimulated.
That's too realistic.
Right?
So...
I kind of want it to be, and I have a bunch of stuff planned. I'm trying new things, and I'm really excited about it. And the fact that we're getting to play every week is spoiling me.
Pretty awesome.
It is great. It feels really good.
It. I'm so excited to play tomorrow, actually.
Right?
I can't stop thinking about it.
Let's talk about what happened last session that hasn't been aired. That's 2 episodes.
No.
Away. Okay, Jasper, Ian, can you believe?
You guys did eat Logren, and I thought that was bold.
Well, I was going to say, there's a reason Jameson's not here. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
He's really upset about that, by the way.
We saw him yesterday, that fucker. Like, he's playing Warhammer.
Right now, he is.
Yeah.
Everyone wish him good luck. I hope that he's winning his tournament right now because he beat
Yeah.
us. So like he must be really, really good. It can't be that we might not be great.
Well,
So it has
everybody
to
should
be.
thank him for his
The,
service.
the transitive property.
That reminds me. Side note: I was looking at here in Brooklyn. There's a game shop called the Brooklyn Strategist, and I was noticing on their site a couple days ago that every weekend they have brunch hammer. So come on down anytime you want to.
That's cool.
Oh.
That's sweet.
That sounds lovely, actually. That just sounds,
Yeah.
man.
They have a little cafe in there. It's great.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be good. Every time I've gone into my local game store when it's Warhammer Day, I think it's Sunday. It does not smell like brunch. I will just say that.
No.
Oh, it did not
More
smell
like a gym.
It did not smell like brunch when we were there either. I just want to share with the group my favorite picture that I took while we were doing Warhammer. So there's Jameson for everybody in the chat. In the adorable. Anyway.
I will say, we played. So we're 5.5 hours away from Jameson, almost 6. And we meet up at a game shop called Kerwin's Game Store in Catskill, New York, and we're trying to do it every few months. And it is a 2.5+ hour drive for each one of us, but we get there and we play for 8 or 9 hours. We're just hanging out. And for most of the day, it's lovely. However, there was a Magic the Gathering / Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, and the place filled up, and the smells. Oh, the smells. I don't know, and I said this on the way home, it smells worse than Dragon Con, and you would expect 80,000 plus people in the hot Atlanta sun to smell far worse. You'll get a whiff of worse every once in a while, and when it's worse, it's real worse.
It was
But
extra insulting because we had Chinese food and we were like, oh man, we got to make sure to throw this out outside so that no
it
it's
doesn't
smelly
stink the
and
place
smelling up the place. And then an hour later, they all come and I never saw a single one of them eating, but I smelled fried chicken. I smelled Chinese food. I smelled weed. I smelled like there were so many smells. There was ass as well. I didn't say it.
Weed and ass is probably Jameson, so don't say anything.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
congrats.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Does that happen for everybody?
What?
what did you do? How'd you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to try it again, though. Whatever I did. I don't know what I did.
Did your birthday happen in that tiny window? Like, did something?
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to me.
It's only for that second.
Yeah, it's gone now. Don't worry about it.
It's got you clocked for the exact time, your exact birth moment.
Did anyone have any more questions before we start wrapping things up? I definitely want. So we're going to be doing these once a month, and as we progress through the story, some of these are going to get heated. You will show up to voice your opinion about character decisions. I will make sure of it. I want you guys to make character decisions, not in a good or a bad way, just like I want you to make them care. And I want 3 episodes in, and I think already stuff has happened that I'm really proud of. And I want that to just keep going and going. And now we're starting the preparations of getting the rest of the cast to start doing stuff for Patreon, and that'll start filtering in there, here and there.
All right, I have 2 more questions before we go out.
Okay.
Zarina in the city, and this one I think I know the answer to, but I'm still going to ask it. Were there any demigods from the last Pantheon, and what happened when the gods reset? I don't think they had a chance to make babies, but I'm not positive.
Wasn't there 2 that?
Yeah.
I know of at least 3.
Yeah. There were demigods. Yeah.
What happened to them?
Demigods live for a long time.
Oh.
We went on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be around.
All right. Next up.
Oh, does that mean
little
little Corvus Evans running around somewhere?
We'll see.
Little shovel guy.
Yeah.
Velasal Geralt asked, how has the long winter affected wildlife in general outside of kobolds and goblins? And we did answer something like this on Living in Theria, so plug for that. But if you wanted to do like a little outro answer for that, you know.
Shit's fucked up. Oh my god. So, okay. So it's not just so obviously the winter that's hitting Alara is not natural. So in the trailer, it's very much mentioned that magical burst, that breath weapon irradiated the land, and it has had time to seep into the roots of everything. So not just above ground, but below ground, everything's changed. Some of it's more deadly. Some of it is, some of it has adapted to the climate. Some of it has really not adapted. And there are new cryptids. There are new weird things. There's stuff that could have never been on Alara that now exists, and I've had so much fun creating new wildlife and monsters and stuff, because combat in A5e is so much more fun than 5e. I'm sorry, it's so boring in 5e. Anybody who's run multiple encounters, it's like, let me guess, they have multi-attack, it's a claw, it's a bite, it's a claw, and that's it. There's no variety. It is boring.
Here's the lair action. They lose all of the things you did. They don't. They got rid of those sniffles.
They failed the saving throw, but guess what? Fuck you. They didn't. Like, it's the same stuff all the time, and now it's just so much more interesting. And it's not just making something deadly; it's doing something that is unexpected, and that is going to be the cornerstone of this campaign. It's like, oh shit, like, wasn't ready for that. I'm really excited to show off all that good stuff, and it will be on Patreon when it's done. It's just going to be stuff we upload here and there. As the Patreon goes up, we'll be able to do things like get new artwork. We paid out of pocket to get the map updated. You guys will be seeing a new map very, very soon. We character art, actual character art, not my scribbling nonsense.
Your beautiful art is gorgeous and perfect.
Thank you for everyone who. Yes, we are. Yes, to make it resemble what the characters actually look like.
We like to support small artists, so we like Jason could have done professional levels for everything, but like we wanted to show support to some outside. I don't know where this joke is going.
I just
fumble in the bag here. Let's just move on. I do want to mention, guys, if you're listening to this in the main feed, next week we are going to have off, and after that, every third Saturday of the month, we are going to be doing extended rest at 3 p.m. EST. That's what we're doing right now. That's why you heard people's usernames and why we got to answer some questions live. And we'd love for you to be here if you can make it. We're going to try to get more cast members in and out. And yeah, that's my shout out for coming to this, because this is really fun and I like doing it with you guys.
Awesome.
If you do watch the video episodes, we also paid out of pocket to get a theme updated. So the theme is going to have a much more wintry vibe. It's so good. I can't wait to share it with you guys. But the video versions are going to continue to tick up because there's just stuff that wasn't ready, like artwork and things like that. So there'll be a little more visually interesting health bars and all that good stuff. I had to comfort
Jason a lot about like, no, it's going to get better. Like the first thing you do isn't the final thing. I know that that's disappointing, but that's just how creativity and art works.
I like things to be ready. It's
not going out because it's ready. It's going out because it's Saturday. For us, it's Monday, but quoting Saturday Night Live. So,
but I really do want to thank everybody for just embracing this and giving it a try. We've had people who haven't listened in a long time come back. Thank you. Obviously, you can support us at patreon.com/DANDR. We have multiple affiliates with people who we're going to be working with. Monument Studios was mentioned. They're their thing that they've been working on for years is getting ready to drop. So if you run a tabletop campaign, they're getting ready to drop Monument Plus, and you can have it loaded on the fly. So it's like, and just have it ready to click, and there's an entire soundscape ready for you for whatever you're going to be doing. We're using GM Assistant. There's a ton of stuff, but we'll be trying to save you guys money with that stuff if you want to patronize those wonderful people. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say before we skip on out of here?
Can't wait to play. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that it does do the heart too, but it's not going to do it for me. Supposed to.
So I'm going to try to do the balloons again. I don't know what I did. I don't know.
Did you just hit a button and now you're hallucinating, though? You think you did it with your
I'm
hands?
probably hallucinating, but I didn't push any buttons.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks for listening. We love you all.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
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 Thank you so much.
Bye.